Hello and welcome to the fourth lecture on Python for CBSE. Now, in the last lecture, we saw there are a number of ways in which we can write Python program or interact with the Python interpreter. So the first one was interactive mode, and another was script mode. However, at some places or in the textbooks, you will find that there is another approach that is using IDEs to run your Python program. However, this IDEs, they stand for Integrated Development Environment. So it is not a different way. It's just like in a script mode, but it helps you. Uh, it makes your job of writing Python program easier. Like if you are starting any keyword like print, it will automatically fill in the rest of the words. So it's sort of intelligent notepad editor, we can say. But we'll discuss more about it some point of time later. But to begin with, and to the students who are just starting with Python development and Python programming, I'll recommend not to use IDEs in the beginning because there are many things you learn the hard way, and so it's preferable don't use IDEs as of now. But later on, I'll suggest as in if by the time when we get comfortable, we should of course move to this IDEs. So it saves our time, and there are less chances of errors because it also, while writing also, it detects some errors. So for now we'll restrict our Python programming to these two, and especially only in the script mode. Okay, so now moving forward, let's say this was the last program that we wrote. See, you are free to use either ideally approach to run the script mode, or this CM using command prompt to execute your, and then going to that location and executing your Python program. It's up to you. It's totally based depends on the one's personal preference. I like this approach of writing my programs on Notepad++ and then executing it through this Windows command prompt. So I'll be following that if you're comfortable with the ideally, and so feel free to use that way. Okay, so let me come out of this uh, command prompt, and okay, so next topic is that we are going to see is comments. So what are comments? So comment in Python, we only have single line comment. So let's say comment is used for it's any such line which starts with this pound sign or this hash symbol. So whenever you use comment, that line or that statement is ignored, completely ignored by Python interpreter, and it won't be reflected on your uh, output screen. So in a way, you can say comments is only used to make the program more readable, and it's used for more used for documentation sake, and it does not affect the execution of program in any way. Okay, so like for example, you can give on the top the first line of your program. Using comment, you can explain what is the purpose of your program. So we can write here learning basics. Okay, basics of print. Fine. So the first line you can use as comment to explain the purpose of your program, and if any line further, if you want to further down, if you want to explain what the further section of the code will be doing, then you can just give a short heading as to explain what is the purpose. So it's more of a basic documentation purpose and is ignored by Python. One thing to remember is, unlike other programming languages like Java and C++, Python doesn't have multi-line comments. However, I will later on we'll see that there is another way of indirect way of using multi-line comments. However, technically speaking, if you come across this question, how many types of comments are there in Python's answer should always be one, and that is single line comment. And how do we write the comment? It should start with any statement or any line that starts with pound sign is treated by the Python interpreter as comment and is totally ignored when it comes to execution. Okay. Also to notice here, is that all the Python codes, all the Python statements start on a new line. So this is, though it is not necessary, if you want to continue write multiple statements in a single line, you can do so by using semicolon and then bringing it up. So if you do not put semicolon, then there will be an error. However, if you wish to write multiple lines, multiple statements in a single line, then you can use semicolon, separating the two statements. More statements you can have. You can have as many statements as you like, but this is not a recommended way of Python programming. So in general, going by the standards, global standards, all the lines, all different statements are written on separate line. However, if you so wish, one or two lines, if there is at all, if at all there is a need, you can use semicolon to separate two statements in a single line. Okay, so we just saw the comments. Now moving on to the further discussion on print. Okay, so till now we have seen that print displays the output. Let's see the output of this program once again. So we can see that because we had commented this 5 plus 6, it did not appear here. Okay, and one more thing, if you leave blank lines, it won't have any effect on the execution. So if you can see, if I leave and then save the program and then re-execute it, so output, there is no change in the output. So this lines, empty lines have whatsoever no effect on the execution of the program. Now, one more thing, one important thing to note here is that whatever one single print displays or prints, it always appears on one line and then the line is changed. If you can see, hello world, it printed and then it changed the line, and whatever the content of the next print was, or the message to be displayed by the next print was, it printed on the next line. Okay, similarly for here. So each print, what it does is it prints the message, number, or the expression, result of the expression, and then moves the cursor to the beginning of the next line. You can see hello world was printed by the first print, and then after printing, it moved the cursor to the beginning of the second line. Okay, so this is the way. However, in certain case scenarios, we may not want the next print to print on the next line. So we have to override the default behavior in case where we do not want any print statement to change the line, move the cursor to the beginning of the next line after printing its work. In that case, what we can do is at the end, we will write end is equals to, within quotes, open and close. And that, like I said, the quotes can be both single and double. So here I have used double. If you use single quote, it won't have any effect. So you will have to suppress the line change behavior of every print. Okay, for any print if you do not want to change the line. Now let us see the output. Because after hello world, we did not say to change the line. So immediately after world, hi, what printed here. And then now see, the first print did not change the line, but we did not say the second print not to change the line. Okay, so second print, after printing hi, it changed the line and moved to the beginning of the next line, move the cursor to the beginning of the next line. So what we have understood here is, in order to suppress the line change behavior of any print, we will always have to suppress the line change behavior by using end parameter, okay, inside the print. Fine. So in order to, if you also want to change the behavior of this print, okay, then again you will have to write separately end is equals to, so here I'll use single quotes, change the behavior. Now if you see, everything got printed in the line, but still the third print printed and changed the line. Let us see. If we also suppress the behavior of this, will it make any difference? Yes, it did. we could see after 12 one blank line was appearing because it printed and moved the cursor to the beginning of the next line. However, here you did not move the cursor to the beginning of the next line, so you did not see this empty line in this case, last case. So this was about how to change. Not only this, if at the end you want to display any character, then you write that character and that character will appear at the end of that line. Let us see. After hello world, this means end specifies what to do after you have printed all after you have printed the message given inside the print. So at the end of it, what to do? So if we write at the end, you also print this character. So you can see after printing hello world, it printed hi. Not only this, you can give any sentence and you will see any message. Just a minute. Okay. So you can see it printed as it is. Also, if you even if you here also if you give whatever, so after printing the content, it will be ended by this. So because in the first case we gave empty message, so you could see after world nothing was printed. Okay, but in the second message we said after printing at the end you print this, then you can see all this appearing here, this pound sign. Okay, so this is how this end parameter works in case of print. Also to note is one important thing. In case within using a single print, if you want to change line, let's say before we write good morning. Okay, so if we print this, because we have already discussed the output of the previous lines, we'll only be discussing the output of the last line. Now to here we'll also get rid of this end, else after 12 only it will start printing. Okay, so I want this line to be in the next line, so that's why I removed now, and then execute again. So you can see this good morning got printed on the next line. Now what if within the single message I want to break this in multiple lines? So wherever I want to change the line inside the message, I will write one special thing is \n. Whenever as a part of the message Python comes across \n, it understands that it has to change the line. This is known as escape sequence. So anything in Python which starts with \, is treated as escape sequence. Escape sequence. Okay, so what does this mean? Escape sequence are a group of one or more characters followed by \, and each has got a meaning defined inside, like \n is used for line change and \t is used for tab space. We'll see. Now let us execute this. Just a minute, maybe I did not save. Now we could see after good, actually it printed one blank space which is not visible here, and then it changed \n encountered, so there it changed the line, and then morning got printed on the next line. So if I even add one \n here also, so as expected, we'll see first good will be printed with space, then line will be changed, then morn will be printed, then line will be changed because of this \n. Okay, and then ing. So let us execute. You can see the output. Okay, so we have also seen what are escape sequences. So in case if you want to I'll show another use of another escape sequence, that is backslash t. T is used to insert one tab space. So in that case, we will see after good space and then one tab space will be left, then MORN will be printed. Okay. So these are the escape sequences. One thing to note is that escape sequences, escape sequence can only be used inside messages and not with numbers and expressions. Okay, so this is the thing. So we cannot have that 12 and then backslash n. It will be error. So any and everything that can be enclosed within quotes, inside quotes only, you can use escape sequences. Okay, so now because we have seen that backslash n is always treated as this new line, so now it's the time that I should explain why every print changes the line. It is because the people who have designed this Python have designed the print statement in such a way that after printing the message, end is by default set to backslash n. This is the default behavior of print. Even if we do not specify by default inside backslash n it takes. Hence, every print changes the line. So in order to override the existing values, existing this message of backslash n, we have to specify explicitly, and then we have to write whatever character we want to display at the end of the print, of that single print. So, but one thing to remember is that one end will only change the behavior of the current print and will have no effect whatsoever in the print statement before it or coming after it. Okay, so this was about so in this lecture we have seen a few things like escape sequences, end parameter, which is used to change the default behavior of the print, which is backslash n, and also we have seen backslash t, that is another escape sequence. And what are escape sequences? Escape sequences are a group of or collection of letters which starts with backslash followed by one or more. Even there are escape sequences which are having more than one letter immediately after it, and it has a meaning predefined in the Python in any programming language, and as per that it is also contained within the string. It cannot be used with numbers and expressions. And we have also seen comments, and also this escape sequences can only be, like we have discussed, can only be used inside messages in the print. Okay, so now further we'll continue in the next lecture.